Hey everybody, Garcia here, and today you're going to be gathering up your ghostly family and reclaiming the greatest mansions in Rest in Peace. Rest in Peace is a two-player tug-of-war style game in which you're going to be playing cards on your side of many different manors and mansions, trying to control that location. If you play a higher total than your opponent and they retreat, then you are going to control that location and control a certain amount, you win the game. One of the main twists is the person who backs off of a fight is going to get a consolation prize, and those can be quite good sometimes. They'll gain a new special one-time ability. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at how the game works. I'll show you on the table. We'll come on back. I'll tell you what I think of it. To set up the game, we are going to pick 9 random cards from this deck here, of which there are quite a few left over. Actually, more than that. There's quite a few of these. And we're going to line them up, making sure that this one is the last one. Now, normally you line them up like this and have a line going that way, but that really barely fits on camera. So I'll go ahead and line them up like this, so they don't favor either player is the idea. And then everybody gets their deck of cards. You're going to shuffle it up. You're going to draw 5 cards, and you are ready to begin. So these cards are simply going to be numerical, and there are going to be 1 through 6 in here, with there being a single 6 but many 1s in the deck. The opponent does the same thing, and we are ready to begin once you've picked a start player. We are going to be fighting over these different locations, and by location I mean this token here. You've got the castles and you've got the manors. And the objective of the game is to be the first player to get either 3 castles, or 4 of the manors. If that doesn't happen by the end of the game, then whoever has the most castles is going to be the winner, okay? So we start over here, and on my turn, I'm going to play any number of cards I want to that location, or I will withdraw from that location. So let's say I start and I play that. It is important that at the end of my turn, I be winning that location. Otherwise, I should withdraw. And then it is my opponent's turn. My opponent is going to play this singular card there. You can play multiple cards, though, if you so choose. It comes back to me. I now need to be beating a 3 if I want to win there. But let's say I don't. I want to conserve my cards in my hand, and so I will now withdraw. My opponent had to waste a 3 to go there. I feel pretty good about gaining that over them, so I'm going to go ahead and withdraw. I discard this. My opponent will do the same thing. Then they win this location, and the loser, me, gets the card. Now keep that in front of me, and every card has a special ability. In this case, this one says that I can use it to copy a card I've already played at a location. And so, once that's done, I am going to draw 2 cards. My opponents will do the same thing. And then the one who withdrew is allowed to take any one card from their hand and play it face down to this last location. And the fight there, if there is one, and someone hasn't won by that point, will be different from the other locations. We will simply reveal the totals there and see who wins, okay? So that's it. Now the winner will begin the next fight, and they are going to play a card in that location. So my opponent is going to play, say, that one there. I am going to play a 4 and a 1 to that location. I am currently winning. My total there is 5. It'll be my opponent's turn. They're going to play a 2 there, and they're currently winning. And now I have to debate, okay, do I keep burning through these cards? These are quite good. I have some good cards in hand. Or do I give up that fight? I think I'm going to give up. So my opponent is going to win that. I'm going to take this card. This one says I can choose to play it and search through my deck, look for one card, and add it to my hand, I believe. And then we, again, draw 2 cards. And I, as the one who lost, again, get to add a card face down to this location here. And we start in on the next one, all right? There is in the rule book a breakdown of what all these things do, all of these locations. So there's going to be a decent amount of referencing because they're not always obvious what these things all do. But this one over here, for example, the next one coming up, says that it is, if the one who played this card wins the round, they can transfer one of their cards played during this round into the next round. Okay, so there you go. It's going to let me move a card up into an upcoming round is the idea. And on your turn, when you are playing, like I said, you can play any number of these you're holding and a number of these that you've won. So if I was going to keep going, my opponent perhaps now would play a 3 there, and I would play a, let's say, a 4. For some reason, I don't think they would fight this hard for it. But let's say they play a 5 there, brings them up to 8. Well, then maybe I'll go ahead and play this one, which duplicates the 4, and throw a 3 on top of that. Again, this is just for the sake of explaining how these cards are going to come into play. These that you win for losing the location. This continues, like I said, as soon as anybody has 3 of these, they win, or 4 of these, they win. Or, when we get all the way down here, this final one just gets, everything just gets revealed, and we see who wins that one. This has no special ability. And then if still no one has 1, 3, or 4, respectively, then whoever has the most of these castles is going to be the winner of the game. And that is all there is to it, except for all of these location powers, which, well, I'm not going to go into all of those. There's quite a few, like I said. Let's go ahead and go back up top. That's the game. So what do I think of this one? I think it's a pretty nice little game. This is a good 2-player package that is certainly a light game. Not a lot of depth here, ultimately. But it is well finalized, is engaging, is cute. It's in many ways clever. And I've certainly had fun with it. So let's break it down, shall we? We're going to start with the top theme and setting here. It's cute and spooky and all of that, but to be fair, the theme is not particularly well implemented. There is no rhyme or reason as to why the special ability you gain from not claiming a mansion is what it is. It's just, a random thing. And the reason we are all haunting these places in a specific order doesn't really make any sense. Having said all that, cute theme, just the cute setting, I should say. The theme isn't very strongly added into the game. The aesthetics are lovely. I think the artwork is great. Card quality, very, very good card quality. These are small format cards, linen finished, great printing. Everything looks good. Tokens are nice. There's not a lot of components in this game, to be fair. The only thing I did not show you is that there are 2 of these, and these are going to tell you what some of the symbols on the cards mean, but they are individualized. And so, if there's a chain of symbols on one of those special abilities, you still need to decipher it. Or, better yet, just look at the rulebook. The rulebook will tell you what every card means, instead of having to do the hieroglyphics of knowing that a spread out set of green cards means your hand, of, like you just have to you'd have to chain the symbols together to figure it out. You can just look up what the card does. So, having said that though, really, and the packaging is lovely too, good size, not too small, not too big, great. The replay value, I think, is fine. There's a lot of those special ability cards. Some of the later ones, and they are ranked by, I guess, difficulty. Some of the later ones start to get really weird, really outside the box, but many of them are cool powers you're going to want to control. You have to give up controlling the location for that, though. But knowing which ones you want, knowing when to lose or win a fight, or try to anyway, is a big part of the game. So I like that there are that many, cards in there to put on the table, but the gameplay and sort of replayability is okay. It's not bad by any means. I wouldn't say it's necessarily tremendous either. Game arc, on the other hand, I think is very good. This game is clearly all about conserving cards. Winning, certainly, but at what cost, right? When do you play your 6? You don't necessarily want to make a jump that goes way beyond what your opponent threw back at you, because you are losing tempo, for lack of a better term, by doing so. If I put down a 1 and you respond with a 6, I'm going to back off. And if that's what you need right now, that's fine. But I also just made a total of 5 points over you, if you want to think of it that way. Which means I'm more likely to be able to win later fights because you just lost your 6, right? So that's important. I like the ebb and flow of that. There's that feeling of what fights do I want to win or want to lose because I want the card, versus what fights do I need to win so that I can avoid getting to the 10th round, so that I can deny you something which would give you the win, say. So I like all of that. I think the game arc here is very good. The ease of play is also very nice. Yes, the iconography needs to be checked, but the game is smooth as butter, right? You play a card or 2 or 3, play one of the special ones, whatever. At some point you back off, draw 2 cards, and the loser can hide one at the 10th location. And then you start again. That's it. So that back and forth is quick, it's painless, it makes sense. The whole game is going to take 15 minutes or so. So it's a nice return for that time investment too. And then lastly, Tactics Luck Strategy. That also I think is good. The game is not to be compared with something more demanding or something just more bombastic. It's a tiny game. You need to know that going into it. It's a little 15-minute game for 2 players, tug-of-war style, and there's a lot of those, to be fair. This is one of the simpler tug-of-war style games for 2. What it does, though, it does well. And there's always that feeling of, if I spend too much in the early rounds, I will lose on the back end. The 10th round and the way that's handled is really interesting. You don't always get there. The game could be over before you get there, but I like it. It is not an obvious thing if you should play a card there face down or not, or which one for that matter. So I like all of that. Knowing, again, which abilities you want, you're choosing to give up a token for a location, the castles or the manors, and win the card, because you think that card is going to turn the tide later on. That's really interesting. A little subtle maybe, but engaging and interesting, and has a nice mix of tactics added into the luck in which the order in which your cards come up, which is luck, and all of that. Plus, you get to see the entire display of cards that house the different locations at the beginning of the game. So you can do a little planning ahead and knowing, well, I'm not threatened if they take this first castle. I won't be threatened for a third castle to way over here, so that's going to give me some wiggle room to maybe go for the manors instead, or just win some special abilities along the way, okay? So there you go. Really neat. I like it. This is going to get a 7 out of 10 from me. That means it gets a seal of approval. It's definitely not something, again, that you should expect a fantastic return out of. But for a small game, you can play just about anywhere. We'll take 15 minutes and we'll give you some neat cadence-based gameplay. This does that pretty well. So there you go, everybody. That is Rest in Peace, a lovely little game, and a 7 out of 10 from me. My name is Garcia. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.